Hey, what's good, guys? It's been a while since I did one of these videos where I try to share my thoughts with all of you. And today I just want to talk about two mindsets that I always encourage my friends and even remind myself to have, which I think are beneficial um, for making moves and for expanding who you are and reaching your goals, right? So those two mindsets are: number one, think like a farmer; number two, think like a driver. Number one, think like a farmer. Number one. Number two, think like a driver. So we think like a farmer. What I'm saying is, like, somebody who's got a farm, they are investing a lot into the farm prior to the harvest. Whether it's the workers they pay, they could be paying workers every month, but there's no produce yet. So it means that every month they're able to put out some money for the guys that are taking care of the cattle, the guys that are taking care of the farm, the guys that are doing the planting and the cultivating and the tilling of the land and so on, everything that needs to be done, taking the cows to the dip and whatever. But it might not be harvest season. So if you're a farmer, it's like you're willing to pay. Let's say the rainy season in Zim, sometimes it starts when? October. From October, you're paying people to come in, you're paying people with tractors to come in, because you might not have a tractor yourself. You might need to hire and put in some fuel. October, November, right? And you're making all these moves when the weeds show up and you're putting all this investment. But at the end of October, there's nothing because the maize isn't there yet. End of November, there's nothing because the maize isn't there yet, and so on. And then the maize starts to pop up and whatever. And finally, by at least April or March, maybe there's maturity. That's if you're doing maize. Or maybe if you're doing tobacco, by a certain time, I don't know the tobacco seasons, but I know that when I used to live in Karoi, around April, March, people were coming to the market. But I used to live amongst farmers and amongst people that had farms, and I saw that they were investing a lot of money beforehand. So it was fair game that when the money comes in, like, because you've been paying these guys a certain amount of money per month just to make things happen, right? And they took that. When the big check comes, it's thousands of dollars. Now that's for you, because these guys, they got paid theirs. They say that I want this money. So that's like, if you've got that mindset, there's some people who could pay somebody to develop a software for them or a website or whatever. And then that person says, yo, me, to develop your website, I want $250, I want 500, I want $400. Oh, dope. Develop the website. And you might be consistent with paying for the website hosting whilst the traffic comes in. The traffic is not going to be like, just because you started a website today, it's going to be as big as Neanda Radio or IRR or whatever. So you're the one who's losing. If you've got that mindset, you're the one who's losing. Or it's a YouTube channel, whatever. You're the one who's paying other people to come and do whatever they have to do. Maybe you need to pay somebody for a show, the intro. Maybe you need to pay somebody for the music. Maybe you need to, whatever it is, right? I'm just giving examples. But at the end of the day, if the thing finally arrives at where your vision was at, you're the one who's getting the bigger check. That's thinking like a farmer. Now, when I say think like a driver, it's still within the same mindset. A driver, if somebody is driving, they might have a mission to be like, okay, I'm in Westgate. I need to get to Highfield, right? And they've got a roadmap, and there are different roads to get to Highfield. There's not one road. So that's thinking like a driver, realizing that there's so many roads. So if you're moving with a particular road and you realize that it's blocked, it doesn't mean you're not going to Highfield. You're still going to Highfield. Except that, yeah, you're going to be frustrated. It's going to take you a bit longer, because now you have to reverse and say, these guys didn't tell me, or they didn't announce on TV that they're going to block this road for reconstruction. But it doesn't mean you're like, just because I saw this road is going to blockade, so I'm no longer going to Highfield. No, you're going to be like, no. So let me reverse. Now let me use this road. There's so many other roads. And even in those roads, there's going to be so many obstacles. There's going to be other drivers that are trying to get in your way. There's gonna be some people that are delaying you, and you just have to wait it out sometimes. Otherwise, you ram into them, right? And when you get a chance to overtake them, you overtake them. It's still the same mindset. Like, okay, I can move this way, move that way, but what's the safest way? Because sometimes just because something undesirable is happening on the way doesn't mean you should lose your patience. If you lose your patience, you might crash into some other people and not make it to Highfield from Westgate. But if you're patient and go through due process, and sometimes, yes, there could be roadblocks and whatever, just like if you're doing any project, you might be doing something and then, all of a sudden, brrr, Zimra comes through, Potras, whatever. They say, yo, you don't have this, you don't have that. It might be a slight delay. Just go get the things that they say they want. Just like if you were driving and then they say, yo, brrr, you don't have a radio license. Brrr, you don't have a fire extinguisher. Just go get the thing and keep it moving, right? And when you've got a chance and when it's open game, right? You accelerate when you see that it's open. And when it's not open, move slow. You don't have to move fast all the time, right? So if you've got those two mindsets, number one, the one that gives you endurance, and I think both of them do, it's the farmer's mindset. The ability to know that if you're working on something that's valuable to you, sometimes you have to wait it out and you have to invest money without getting money back immediately. As long as you're sure of the science of what you're doing. This applies a lot to SEO. I've worked on a lot of projects that in SEO, and I knew for certain that now this is gonna work. But SEO doesn't work in a day. SEO can take 2 years to start giving you results. You understand what I'm saying? So some people they might pay for a website and then after a year, maybe they're not seeing certain results. They're like, we're wasting money over there. No! That's when it was about to come out. You should have waited. That's when you should do of course, you should get an expert who does the right things on the site from day one, and that's going to be quicker. But I'm telling you, there's some things that compound if you do them the right way. So if you're a farmer and you're farming the right way, over time, it's like even if you're farming, if you've got an orchard, the first years when you're growing a mango tree or an apple tree, it's not giving you apples or mangoes. But once it starts giving you mangoes, then it's going to give you mangoes every year, even without you even intervening or watering it. Me, the mango trees that I know that are not even being taken care of by farmers, meaning like you've seen in the neighborhood, maybe there's a mango tree and avocado. This is not even something in a plantation where it's getting watered or given certain supplements and nutrition. But every year, definitely, you know that you're going to get a few avocados or a few mangoes or a few guavas from that tree. But there's a time when the people that grew that tree, on a weekly basis, man, I remember growing up, my parents liked growing trees, you know. There's certain trees, for a couple of years or for the first few years, it was my duty to water those plants. And right now when I go home, I'm eating from those, I'm coming back with some fruit from those trees. You know what I'm saying? So that's the farmer's mindset. And then the driver's mindset, I'm saying, when you are going on your goal, there's so many routes to it, number one. Number two, there's other people that are also going there or going in other directions, but maybe partially going in the direction you're going. Meaning to come in again from Westgate to Highfield, there might be someone who's not going to Highfield, but some of the same roads that you guys are using, you are using them together. And then they're going to turn off when they turn off. And then they're also communicating with their indicators. And there's communication there, and then there's road signs, and then there's like, yo, here you got to stop and whatever. So you got to keep learning the rules, and sometimes you make mistakes, but you keep it moving. That's the kind of mindset that you got to have. Blah! Peace. It's my part of your boy.